Welcome back. This is Mrs. Rubright with Algebra 1 Honors. Today's lesson is 4.9, and it's slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines. Slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines. All right, so the Band Booster Club is selling t-shirts and blanket wraps to raise money for a trip. The band director has asked the club to raise at least $1,000 in sales. So the Booster Club has set a fundraising goal of $2,000 of sales. The Booster Club's president wants to know how many t-shirts and how many blanket wraps the club needs to sell in order to meet their $2,000 goal. The t-shirts cost $10 each and the blanket wraps cost $25 each. How can the Booster Club president use the sales price of each item to help the fundraiser meet its goal? Okay, so write a linear equation to show the amount of money raised. Let x be equal to the number of t-shirts sold. Write an expression for the amount of money raised from t-shirt sales and interpret the expression. Okay, so t-shirt sales. T-shirts are $10 each, right? So isn't it just going to be $10 times the number of t-shirts, 10x? So the club will get $10 for every t-shirt sold. But y equal the number of blanket wraps. So that's going to be $25. What was it? $25 times the number of blankets. Yeah. The club will get $25 for each blanket sold. Combine them. All right, well, 10x plus 25y, right? The expression for sales. Expression means there's no equal sign. An equation has an equal sign, an expression does not. All right, so it says combine the expressions. So that's combining the expressions and the sales goal in a linear equation. So now they want me to combine this to make a linear equation. So this is going to equal, what's my goal? 2,000. Okay. Determine whether the Booster Club will meet their goal if they sell 50 t-shirts and 50 blanket wraps. So 50 times 10 plus 25 times 50 equals, what is this going to equal? So that would be 500 plus 25 times 50. 1250. They're going to sell 1750. Is that meeting the goal? Well, yes and no. So yes, it meets the band director's goal. Who are they asking me? Determine whether the Booster Club will meet their goal. So no, but the band director does, right? So I would say no. They need to make $250, like $250 more. But they meet the band director's goal. They exceed the band director's goal. Determine whether the Booster Club will meet their goal if they sell 100 t-shirts, 100 times 10, and 40 times 25. All right, well, that would be 1,000 plus 40 times 25, 1,000. So they'd have 2,000. So yes, they would be exactly at their goal. Calculate 3 pairs of values for x and y. Enter your results in the table. Okay. So for this, what equation are we doing? We're doing, I guess, the equation that we created. So that was 10x plus 25y equals 2,000. So if x is 0, then y would be 2,000 divided by 25, 80. If y is 0, then 2,000 divided by 10 is 200. And if x is 50, I would have 500 plus 25y equals 2,000. So that would be 1500 equals 25y. Divide by 25. Y would be 60. Okay, so we have the number of blanket wraps sold, the number of t-shirts sold. Okay, so 0, 80, 200, 0, 50, 60. Okay. What does the point where the lines intersect the x-axis represent? So where it intersects the x-axis, that's 200 what? 200 t-shirts and no blankets. To meet the goal. Right? It would be 200, they would have to sell 200 t-shirts if they didn't sell any blankets. Explain what the point 140 means. So 100 is your x is your t-shirts. So that would be 100 t-shirts and 40 blankets. Let's look at that. 140, that's on the line, right? So would meet their goal. Suppose the band booster club sells 25 blanket wraps during a chilly football game. Use the graph to determine how many t-shirts they need to sell. 25 blankets would require 140 t-shirts. This making sense, guys? Write and graph a linear equation that shows the sales required to raise the minimum of $1,000. Use the expressions for the amount of money raised from t-shirts and blanket wraps and the minimum goal of $1,000 to write a linear equation. So if you're trying to raise a minimum of $1,000, so it was $10 per shirt plus $25 per blanket, and you want a minimum goal of $1,000. So that has to be greater than or equal to 1,000. Calculate the three pairs of values for x and y. They said equation, not inequality, so I guess I'll put it equal to 1,000 because they said equation, not inequality. Even though technically it really should be an inequality, let's be honest. Calculate the three pairs of values for x and y. Enter your results in the table, then graph the linear equation. So if I plug in a 0 for x, I get 1,000 divided by 25. 40 for y. If I plug in a 0 for y, 1,000 divided by 10 is 100. And if I plug in a 50 for x, I would have 500. So I'd subtract that, I'd have 500. And 500 divided by 25 is going to give me 20. So once again, we have our number of blanket wraps sold. And we have our number of t-shirts sold. All right, so we have 0, 40, 100, 0, and 50, 20. Graph the linear equation you found in part 1 that represents the sales goal of 2,000 on the same axes. Okay, so once again we have the number of blanket wraps sold, number of t-shirts sold. All right, so one of them was 0, 40, 50, 20, and 100, 0. And the other one was 200, 0, 80, 0, 0, 80. Okay, so these are the two lines on the same graph. Make a conjecture about the graphs of the two linear equations. How could you show your conjecture is true? So the graphs are what? Yeah, are parallel. Good job. And you could find the slope to prove it. Okay. Suppose the manufacturer made an error and none of the blanket wraps were sellable. How many t-shirts would the Band Booster Club need to sell to raise $1,000? So to raise $1,000, how many t-shirts? If you have zero blankets, so 0 blankets, you would need for 1,000, you would need 100. And for 2,000, you would need 200. If the Booster Club sells 18 blanket wraps, what is the number of t-shirts they need to sell to raise $1,000? So $1,000, that's this one, right? So they are selling 18 wraps. So somewhere around 60. I guess we have to actually plug and chug, right? Because otherwise we're not going to get the exact number. This is 10 times t plus 25 times 18 equals 1,000 versus 10t plus 25 times 18 equals 2,000. So 18 times 25 is 450. So we're going to subtract that from 1,000. So you have 550. So 10t equals 550. Divide by 10. T equals 55. And for the other one, 25 times 18, once again, is 450. So subtract that from 2,000. You get 1,550 divided by 10. $155. Okay? Does that make sense? Well, if I need an extra $1,000, 1,000 divided by 10 is an extra 100 shirts, so 100 more. It makes sense. Based on your answers to questions 3B and 3C, how many more t-shirts must the Booster Club sell for a given number of blanket wraps sold to increase their total from 1,000 to 2,000? They need to sell 100 more, right? All right, and then we don't really need to do the extend. So your homework tonight is going to be on 4-9, the additional practice, which is page 247 and 248. So 247 and 248. I hope you guys enjoyed the lesson on 4.9. Please like and subscribe and have a